All right, number three is going to be the biggest surprise of this listing. And if you guys are paying attention, there's one movie that everybody was excited for me to watch and wondered where, because to be honest, I thought this movie would probably be last place, but it's in third. It's a third favorite movie of these Best Picture nominees, and that is The Substance. Yeah, you're probably like, what? The Substance? Number three? It doesn't mean I like the movie. I didn't like the movie, but it was way more interesting than almost every other movie on this list. Like, I know that's how bad these movies are. That's something like The Substance. I'm like giving some praise to because of how bad the other movies are. Yeah, Substance is a very interesting movie. It's a body horror, which is very unlikely to get nominated for Best Picture. So it's very interesting that I got nominated. It's starring Demi Moore here, and it's a very strange movie, very wild, very goes off the rails, bonkers movie. And the whole thing is Demi Moore plays an actress who's 50, and Demi Moore is actually like 59 when she made this movie, and she's playing a 50-year-old. And Demi Moore is still like really good looking at 59. She's so good looking, she passed for 50. I mean, that's how good looking she is. So it's insane how well she's aged, anyways, into this role. And so it's interesting. She kind of plays, a character like herself, like a famous actress who's now 50, and she gets fired from a job because she has aerobics job on TV. She gets fired because she's 50 and she's getting too old for the position. And the boss, played by Dennis Quaid, wants someone younger, anyways, and that's the whole thing. And so she's, very self-conscious by the fact that she's getting older and she's losing jobs and all this. And then she gets the chance, or she finds out about this drug called The Substance that will give you a younger body, basically. And so she takes it, and this younger kind of almost other person comes out of your body, and it's young, really good looking person. And so I guess I don't quite understand the dynamic between the two. That's a little confusing. Like, it's supposed to be the same. They keep saying you're the same body, but yet they treat each other like different bodies at the same time. So and they kind of hate each other in some senses, it seems like, towards the end of the movie. But so Margaret Qualley plays the younger version of this character, basically. And then she gets to live out, enjoy what it's like to be younger anyway. So that's kind of the whole movie. And then some wild things happen at the end. I will say this movie is, at first, I really did not like the way this movie was shot, especially when it comes to like Dennis Quaid. They obviously wanted to make him the most despicable character and make him very hated. So every shot is like close-ups of him, and they're very unflattering angles. And there's a lot of close-up of his mouth. Like, it was weird choices. Like, when he talked, it would just be a close-up of his mouth. And they try to make him look as unappealing as possible. And he's very what's the word? Not nice towards women, I guess, kind of thing. Or not nice toward Demi Moore because she's older. I guess he is nicer than Margaret Qualley because she's young, good looking. But his name's Harvey, so I'm guessing they're kind of doing a Harvey Weinstein kind of impression or something. And he's just a despicable character who says very mean, despicable things. Like, he even says, like, what's her name? Isabella? I don't like that name. You're Cindy now. He says that to his assistant. So he says a lot of jerky things like that. And it's like, okay, I get it. The guy is evil. Men are evil. So it's one of those things I didn't like about the movie. Is like, all the men are just these very, unlikable people, and all they care about is looks or something. I don't know. They portray men as not being very nice, I would say. But, that's what these movies like to do. And also the editing is I didn't like the editing at first. There's lots of like especially when they show like Dennis Quaid, he'd be smoking a cigarette, and all of a sudden it cuts to him putting the cigarette out, and then it cuts back to him smoking the cigarette, and then he's putting it out. So it's very, very sharp cuts that's very jarring and like very unsettling, or like, what the heck? Like, it reminds me of a movie called, I think it was called Requiem for a Dream. had a similar style to it. I feel like the director slash writer saw Rec Room for a Dream and was like, I want to do the same thing as this movie, where you put in a lot of quick edits that are very unsettling and shoot in very weird angles and stuff. Anyways, and all that. Because it reminds me of that, because that was a very unsettling movie. So, but I kind of got the idea that she did these quick edits. She did these certain close-ups like that, because the movie is supposed to be very unsettling. It's a, body horror. It's supposed to make you unnerved. It's supposed to, be disturbing. So I kind of found myself going, okay, I get what they're doing here. They're trying to make me, uncomfortable with the way they're shooting the movie. And I do feel uncomfortable. So I'm like, if that's what they wanted, they're doing a good job. I still don't like it though. I don't like to be uncomfortable. I don't like to be unnerved. I don't like the weird transitions, the weird editing. I don't like it. But I think they did on purpose. So I'm like, I don't like it, but yet I admire it. I admire what they're trying to do here. I think it's kind of done. I think there's something to say about that. Anyways, so I think it actually has the subject matter. Like I said, a lot of these movies, I didn't care for the story. I think this actually has an interesting story to it that means something. I think it has something to say. I think it has a good message behind it, which is the whole thing is Demi Moore character is, unhappy because she's getting older. And so she's got the substance and makes this younger body, and she's obsessed with this, being younger. But the younger person is not obeying the rules of you have to be on 7 days on, 7 days off thing. And it's affecting Demi Moore, where her body's starting to deteriorate and be decrepit, and you see her in different stages of makeup where her body's starting to fall apart because of her younger self. Yet she keeps taking the substance because she's addicted to being younger. And I don't know how much I can spoil, but let's just say it's basically undoing. It does not have a happy ending. It has a very tragic ending to the character, I guess. And so it seems to be saying, hey, even though you're getting older, accept that you're getting older, accept yourself, and look at yourself in a different way, and don't be obsessed with the past don't be so vain about being young. Some people try so hard to keep younger even when they get older, and they look off. And funny enough, it's ironic because it's Demi Moore. She's an actress who, again, she looks so good for her age because she's probably, had a lot of, Botox and surgeries and all kinds of stuff to make her look younger. So it's almost kind of this irony of like, she's playing a character who I'm doing is because she likes to look younger, but yet the actress, has done so much younger too. So anyway, so it's interesting in that sense. If that makes any sense. But so it's interesting because actresses are very vain. Actresses are always trying to make themselves look younger, and they always look younger than they are. And I feel like this is saying, like, accept who you are as you get older. And like I said, her not accepting who she was as getting older and being so vain about, being younger and good looking and all that, definitely is her undoing at the end. It ruins her life at the end. So I kind of like that. I kind of like the idea of that. Like, oh, don't, be so obsessed with, trying to be younger than you are. Accept it. I'm 41. I'll never be 21 again. And I accept that. I have to accept that I'm getting gray hairs. My body doesn't move the way it does. I'm going to start getting wrinkles, at some point, whatever, that's just the way life goes. You get older and nothing to do about it, and so I like the idea of just accepting who you are as you get older. Anyway, so in that sense, I really like the subject matter of the movie. Now, of course, towards the end of the movie, there's a moment where I don't know how much I can say, but the Demi Moore, Margaret Qualley characters become this very hideous monster, and I couldn't explain how it happens. I don't quite understand how it happens, but all I can say is that there's this monstrous character at the end, and it's very gross, very ugly. It's like a Elephant Man type Gollum mix, and even there's it's hard to explain, but Demi Moore's face is like on it. You see Demi Moore's face like poking out of the chest or something like that, or the back of this character. And at the very end, they go to this big gala thing, and then body parts are like falling apart, and blood is spurting everywhere. It's very strange, very bonkers, off the wall the last 20 minutes of the movie, where you're like, what is going on? And it's very gross, very gruesome. Like I said, lots of body parts falling off, blood spurting. This character is deteriorating to, at the very end, it's just Demi Moore's face is like crawling out of this creature and crawls at the end. It's insane. I admire the makeup work. The makeup work is really good. And the way they designed this character, very intriguing. And I do love this. There's this big orange hallway. It's very striking how it's orange paint, very long. And there's all these scenes, like the beginning, Demi Moore is walking across this big, long hallway, and there's pictures of her on the wall. And then she gets fired, and she's walking down this long hallway, and it's empty. Really cool imagery, I think. I really like that. And then at the very end, the whole orange wall is splattered with blood from this character. I thought it was really cool. I was like, oh man, that's a cool transit or kind of arc for that hallway, because it was so long. It was crazy long, and it was crazy orange. You're like, I've never seen a hallway like that. And I thought that was kind of cool. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the, horror aspect, I guess, in the sense of it's very gross. It's very unnerving, all those stuff. Yeah, I didn't like it. Not a big fan of that stuff. But at the same time, I admire what they did there, and I admire the makeup work. And I will say, I think Demi Moore gave a really great performance. I think very deserving of the Oscar. I kind of came away going, yeah, I really enjoyed her performance. I think it was her best performance she's done, and hope she wins the Oscar anyways. But I'll say that still, it's like a 2-star movie for me. It's not one I'm going to go back to, but it's a movie that I actually admire. I think well made, well acted, and one of the better scripts. So that's why Substance, yeah, surprises you, surprises me. Number 3 on my list.